Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Kerbal Space program. In the last episode, we designed a pretty simple module for the space station that was for the resource conversion unit to take ore, which we're going to be mining, and convert it into a lot of basic resources, mostly fuel types, monopropellant, liquid fuel and oxygen, liquid hydrogen, lithium, a few other things that we can convert ore into. So I got that built, also included kind of a universal omnidirectional docking node on that, and got that flown up to the station and docked, and then proceeded to design another kind of fairly simple, straightforward module for ore tanks to actually store the ore on the station, though we did not actually fly that up to the station just yet, at least by the end of the episode. So what I decided off screen is that, we've seen enough kind of launch and transfer and rendezvous and docking of various components of the space station at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and take care of the next few modules that were needed. So I went ahead and did that. So I flew the ore tank up there, got that docked, so that's docked and ready to go. I went ahead and designed another very simple module that was just a big lithium fuel tank that flew up there empty because we didn't need it full. Because a lithium fuel tank is what we need to resupply the magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters that we're using for a lot of our, permanent space-based vehicles. So flew that up there, and then I also flew up a module that basically contains a whole bunch of radiators to dissipate heat, because the conversion unit is going to generate heat, and once we actually start getting some other, manufacturing up there, we're going to need probably a nuclear reactor to power that, and the reactor is also going to need to have, heat dissipated. So, real quick, let's go ahead and take a look at what the station looks like now, so that you can just see what I did. And I decided on a name for the station as well. Oh, wait a minute, there's still something sitting there. We're going to have to deal with that. I'm calling the station Kerbal 1, which is a reference to one of my favorite sci-fi franchises, which is Babylon 5. So we have the Kerbal 1 station. So let's go ahead and fly it. This may take a minute to load. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, so here's that ore storage module there, which, I can fly up more of those if I want and just kind of stack them on there. Here is the lithium module. Again, it was pretty much just a big lithium tank, some RCS thrusters and some RCS tanks, and a control module there. That's all it really needed. I think there's some batteries in here too as well. Yeah, some battery packs, some solar panels, all the basics. And then there is this long spar that I built here for the radiator panels. I probably went overboard with the radiator panels, but, better safe than sorry, I guess. So that is ready to go. So we could park like a reactor back here, and then this will help dissipate the heat, and it kind of would keep also. I was thinking, we have this extra distance here, so if we have a reactor dangling off the back end here, it's at least pretty far away from the living space, which is up here, for any potential, like, radiation leakage or anything like that, which, isn't a thing in the game, but I'm just kind of, thinking, kind of beyond that a little bit. Alright, so, yeah, we still have like 3 years of life support here. So yeah, I apparently need to deal with a piece of debris out here that, well, not really a piece of debris, but the upper stage from the rocket that lifted the spar. There we are. You're too close to the station for comfort, so we're going to go ahead and retrograde and deorbit. There we go. Alright, so I think with that, the next bit of business that we're going to need to design is going to be the resource harvesters that are going to actually land on the moon, harvest the ore, and bring it back to the station. So that's going to be interesting. The best option for propulsion is going to be magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters. Because, again, high efficiency, high thrust. But they do need a lot of power, as mentioned before, as we've seen. So, we have a couple of options here. We can try to design a single vessel. They'll be able to lift the entire load. Yes. Let's give that a shot here. And it might get fairly big and heavy, and we'll have to see. Alright, well, let's start with a reactor, because if we're going to go magnetoplasma dynamic thrusters, we're going to need a reactor. We have this reactor, which creates 2,000 electric charge per second. You see our old reactor, this was the one we've been using before. That produces 2,000 electric charge per second. And now we have this new one, which is flatter and wider, which produces the same amount. Now, I want to switch this over to the moon, because that's all that really matters. This is going to be operating purely around the moon, however you want to pronounce that. See, now this only produces 2,000 electric charge. Now I'm going to want this to be manned, actually. Lander can. Okay. The Kerbal doesn't need to really get out and onto the surface. Oh, there is actually something I forgot to do. Hold on, let me actually leave here. We're not gonna save that. Because I did make a decision about one thing I wanted to unlock here, because we're gonna need the advanced landing, because this has a heavier landing strut. Heavy command modules would be nice, but I don't think that's ultimately necessary. But that advanced landing is going to be useful. Heavy landing. Inflatable heat shield. Ooh. Probably going to want that at some point. But, you know, we'll get around to that. Okay. Okay, so, let's just kind of, let's see here. Why are we having issues? Okay. So if we put those there, right, and then I throw on some lithium tanks, right? These lithium tanks, and then we throw on some engines like that. That gets us what? 7.99 thrust to weight ratio with 5,000 meters per second of delta V. Okay. Not bad. But we're not carrying any ore. At the moment. We're not carrying any ore, so what if I went like this? They're gonna bump in there. Okay. So I need to carry 6 ore canisters, right? Let's see. There's 4. There's 6. But then we're gonna run into the problems docking. Potentially. It would be better if I could do this in 3s. Do I have a reactor that produces 3,000 EC per second? You do 6,000. Okay, that's probably a bit much. 2,000. This one does 3,000. Okay. You do 4,000. 1,136. Okay. So this guy does 3,000 energy credits, electric charge per second. It's very tall. It's very tall. Almost too tall, I think. Because also we're going to have to worry about stability upon landing. Which is why, like, something wider and squatter like this makes more sense. But again, we only do 2,000 electric charge per second. And I don't have any solar panels that even get close. See, now this monster does 4,000 electric charge per second. But that's 17 tons just by itself. Alright, well, let's just see what I can do with this. Alright, so if we go with that, with the lander can, which the lander can doesn't quite fit right there. Let me actually try something here. No. Yes. And then we would need an adapter, right? We would need an adapter like that. We could tuck those away in there. That could work. Let's see if I did another one down here. And then we did the same thing. We just tuck some of those in there. There's our 6 ore canisters. And then we would just need to cap them off with some adapters. Flat adapter. Well, that's like pressurized, which is not necessarily what I need. Well, I think we would need to go with that one. That's like half a ton of just wasted. Alright, well, I mean, there we would go. Now, we would need some sort of thermal solution here. Let's see. We'd have a lander can on top of that, and then we would have the docking port, right, on top of that. Now, this is going to need to be able to fly itself. We could pack a few batteries in there. I can pack a command module in there, or a this is a remote guidance unit, is what that's actually called. Throw in a few more batteries. We're going to need communications arrays. That all gets tucked in there. That works. Keeps the outside nice and clean. Oh, we're going to need RCS of some sort. That's fine. Now, yeah, because we've got the ore, so all we need now are the engines. Well, that's not all we need, but we need engines. Alright, so if we did that... Oh, no, we're not going with 3 engines. We're going with 2. 2 engines. With our lithium tanks. And our thrusters. 3,400 meters per second delta V with a thrust to weight ratio of 5.5. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, but we're not done yet. One thing I'm going to need to test. Well, let's get the rest of the things we're going to need on here. We're going to need landing legs. We're going to need landing legs, and we're going to go with these new heavy landing struts. 4 of them? Yeah, 4 of them. Right, start retracted. And then we're going to need some drills. Junior mining excavators. Do we want to go with the juniors, or do we want to go with the drill-matic mining excavators? That's nice. 2 of those. That would work. Now the question then becomes, what does this look like? If I take that off, I could just completely take that off to save weight, but if we are fully loaded with ore, so let me just take this stuff off. Let me load with ore. Alright, and then put this all back. 2.79 thrust to weight with 1600 meters per second at delta V. We might need more fuel. Alright, let me extend those landing legs. Let me lower... If I lowered the engines to about there, and then stuck some more fuel on here. What are we looking at? 3,200 meters per second on delta V. It's probably overkill, but from landing and takeoff with full loads, that might be a good idea. Okay. Alright, retract that. And without the ore, we're talking 4.29. That'll do, I think. That'll definitely do. Now, what we're gonna also do here, because this reactor is just gonna produce enough to keep those engines running, so we are gonna need some sort of solar panel on here. Actually, I would rather we get some solar panels that, there is something goofy with this lander can. Yeah, they can basically provide the additional charge that's needed. This is also going to need some level of life support. We're only going to be having... I might have a pilot and an engineer on board, though I'm not going to be taking one. I just need to see what kind of... supplies we might be able to get here. Oh yeah, actually, I don't actually need... Maybe we don't have anything on there right now. I know that they can last for 14 days without anything, but... You know, we can throw some basic supply canisters on there. Life support. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that would work. Or I could just shove the supplies, like, in here. So it's on board. That gives 13 days 13 days of supplies for 2 crew. That could work. Recycling module. No, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, I think that works. What I could do is throw another docking port on here. Oh, we need RCS. We need reaction control thrusters here. Center mass is right dead center. Okay, that's good. So, I think what I'm going to use are going to be the magnetoplasma dynamic RCS blocks. Because then that uses this. We don't have to worry about having to bring extra monopropellants. Let's see. Let me just move things around just a little. No. We're only doing 2 of those. You know what? It actually would probably be better to go with these style. There. And there. When those are extended, they're fine. Okay, good. No, actually, could I elevate these a little bit? To maybe right about there. Oh yeah, we're gonna need some thermal. Alright, deployed. Oh yeah, they got plenty of reach. Alright, put some little like single RCS there and there. That ought to do. That should give some fairly decent maneuverability. Though that did elevate the center of mass a little bit. Alright, that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay. I mean, I could throw a docking port on here. Yeah, that should be alright. Alright, what are we looking at? Oh, yeah, thermal. I keep forgetting thermal. What type of dissipation are we looking for? Required cooling, 3,000 kilowatts. Okay. Core heat transfer, 1,000 kilowatts. 150 kilowatts. I think that's what I'm looking for, is core heat transfer. $150, 1,500. Now the drills need 100 kilowatts of cooling while they're running. So we need something like 3,200 kilowatts? See, now these things actually do extend, right? Yeah. And then if I can get some, like, good surface. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Ranger thermal. What is that? It's like a coolant system? Requires 2.5 electric charge per second, core heat transfer, maximum cooling. Interesting. Heat exchanger. So that doesn't actually provide any cooling, it just transfers heat. Okay. So If I were to do that, what would that look like? Okay. There's some radiators there, and some radiators there. These would need to be extended while the reactor's running. And then these would need to be extended while the drills are running. And then these would need to be retracted, because those can be toggled, right? I'm pretty sure those can be toggled. I think all these can be toggled. Alright, so 3 is what I typically use for radiators. Yeah, toggle radiator. Toggle radiator. And... toggle drill. Okay. And then 5 would be toggle surface harvester? I'm not sure what that is. Alright. Alright, so... 4 would toggle the drill and the radiators. 3 toggles those radiators. Actually, no. 2 is typically the radiators. 3 is the reactor. Toggle the reactor. There you go. So this one's going to be called the Moon Harvester. Alright, we're going to need to run a test. Start extended. And put this on the pad. Oh, I forgot to set up one action group. Okay. Alright, so it's sitting there. The bells are not hitting the surface, so that's good. I forgot to set up the action group to extend those panels. Okay, so that extends those radiators. That should activate the reactor. And yep. It is stable. Alright, and then 3 deploys those radiators and the drills. But it just deploys the drills. It doesn't actually start the harvesting. Okay, so I'm going to need an action group. Alright, so then that should do that, and then that will retract the drills. Alright, so let's go ahead and start harvesting. Start harvesting. And let's make sure that the core temps stay where they need to be. Excellent. Now I'm guessing we're not picking up any... No, we actually are picking up ore. Well, how about that? Very, very small amounts of ore, but it's still ore. Alright then. Alright, power down the reactor. Reactor offline. And then retract the radiators. Excellent. Well, let me just extend the radiators, engage the reactor. Yeah, looks like I'm actually gonna have to keep those radiators deployed until the reactor actually cools off. All right. Electric charge is good. All right. Let's go ahead and recover the vessel. And now we need to come up with a method of getting this monstrosity into space. Okay. We need to lift. Let's switch this back to Kerbal now. 30 tons needs to get lifted into orbit. Just out of curiosity. What about this? Our good old Gladius Heavy. Thrust to weight ratios. Actually, this is not gonna help me much there. Let's throw a stack decoupler there just to isolate things. Okay, that one, and then those engines. But I don't think we're going to fire those engines until we're actually in moon orbit. I might want to put these somewhere else. Maybe there. .4,100 meters per second. That might actually be enough to get this thing in orbit. And I think that, I mean, I might be able to get a fairing on this thing. But what I might do is this. Put some aerodynamic cones. Protective rocket nose cone. That's... that's somewhat goofy. There's some stuff here that's going to be exposed to the airstream, like those mining excavators, but I want to run another test. .4,000 meters per second. Thrust to weight's only 1.02. 48. 1.53. You know what? We're gonna be flying it unmanned. To get it up there. So, you know what? You know what? Let's just make it happen. Let's just make it happen. Let me just check something. If I extend those solar panels, oh yeah, it's gonna get bumped into. Okay. Alright, so action groups, I need to change. 5 is going to be to toggle the surface harvester on those. 1 is going to be toggle those solar panels. And then I'm going to make 6. Well, I need to actually add I'm not going to make this upper stage controllable. Should be alright. But I am going to give it some photovoltaic panels to power its own cooling. And that's going to be on 6. Okay. Okay. All right, let's launch this thing. Oh no, we need to put launch clamps on here first. Let's see if I can get this thing to orbit. That's going to be the first adventure. Is get that to orbit. Alright, save. And let's launch it. If this rocket stack gets this payload to orbit, I will be impressed. All right, no, not mover planner. We're gonna use MechJeb because, you know, it's supposedly, in theory, more precise. All right, auto deploy solar panels. No, don't do that. I will handle the deploying of solar panels. Engage autopilot, and let's see what it does. If anything tears off, then we'll have to abort, but those 4 engines definitely have the thrust for this project. Well, yeah, that's not gonna do it. Okay, disengage the autopilot. And alright, well, this will give me a chance to test and make sure that these cones do what I expect. Which they do, actually. That's perfect. They jettison fairly well. Alright. So, you know, we're just gonna dump a reactor full of enriched uranium in the ocean, but, you know, who cares? Alright, RCS. Let's run an RCS test. Let's... no, that's not gonna... Okay. So it's going to be a lot more responsive in that axis than in this axis. Okay, so when it loses the stabilizing factor of those 4 strap-on boosters, it becomes a problem. Okay. Alright. Space Center. Space Center, please. Yeah, for today, I'd like to at least get this thing to orbit. And then probably off screen, I'll take care of getting it over to the moon, which I'm going to have to use a tug for that. And then next episode, we can probably do the landing and start harvesting. But that's not going to do what I needed to do. Okay, so I think I'm still going to go with the same idea of decoupling. Stack decoupler. Okay, so we're going to have to go with the bigger... We're going to have to go with bigger tanks. More power. Do I have a proper adapter? I do, in fact. And that does have a tank in it. Good. Alright, let's say I stack that there, and I put... Let's say I put this engine on it. Which is my typical engine. 1.56 meters per second of delta V. Or meters per... 1.5 thrust-to-weight ratio. 2,200 meters per second of delta V. Now we're talking. Okay. No, don't fire those engines at the same time. No, because I really don't want to fire those engines until we are in moon orbit and ready to go. I really should put together a sub-assembly version of this so I can just stack, you know, just drop the stack on there and not have to worry about it. 3,600 meters per second of delta V. That's through 2.63 thrust to weight. Okay. Okay. We're gonna need some of that. And I'm gonna also make make this controllable. I'm gonna need one of these rings. Not that one. That one. So that I can throw some batteries in there. Batteries and communications equipment. Communications equipment. Alright, there we are. And then we'll just need some solar panels. Put those on the action group. Actually, it's already set up right. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, we're going to need a little bit more kick to get this to where we need it. So, strap-on boosters. Now, solid boosters or liquid? I can go with some Thors. We go with some Thors. That'll definitely get the job done, I think. What's my thrust to weight off the pad? 1.71. Yeah, that'll do it. And I'm probably going to want some aerodynamic control. That's probably a bit too much. Alright, let's see if those work. Alright, so those guys, then those guys, then those guys, then this one, and then this one, then this one, and those in theory. But this engine should be sufficient to get us into orbit. Should be. Should be. Alright. There we are. Let's go. Save it and launch. Make sure that there's nobody on board. Nobody on board. Good. Alright, launch. Okay. So there we are. MechJeb, Ascent Guidance, Engage Autopilot. Well, make sure they auto-deploy. The solar panels are off. Yep. Engage. And let's see if this one works better. Oh, whoa. There we go. Always do a quick double check of staging. Everything looks good so far. Nope. Can this engine recover? Nope. This payload is just too stinking heavy, I think. Either that or it's those engines. These side guys that are creating an aerodynamic load that are throwing off the stability. Well, there is a way to get around that. There is a way to get around that. Okay. Okay. Well, we're just going to let this thing hit the ground, hit the water. Or, yeah, well, it's not going to hit ground. Yep, there we are. Space Center. Alright, take that off. We're going to keep that on there. We're going to get rid of the whole nose cone business, because that's not working. Okay. And then let's go ahead and get the... No, that's not what I want to do. This one should be sufficient. Now the Thors are going to have to get lowered just a tad. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're going to need to throw a rather ridiculous looking fairing on there. But you know what? If it solves the aerodynamic problem, it solves the aerodynamic problem. Alright. Save it. And let's try it for a third time. Let's hope that third time is in fact the charm. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that the thrust vectoring and fins would be enough to overcome the problem, but nope. This is what we're gonna have to. This is what we're gonna have to do here. All right. Ascent guidance. Engage one more time, and let's punch it. Okay, this I think is about where we started having the problem. Alright, looking good so far. Everything is nominal, as they say. Alright, SRB separation. Main engine ignition. And we are stable. Excellent. Yep. It was an aerodynamic issue. Well, as it usually is when you have that sort of behavior. Wow, we actually got there on before depleting that fuel tank. That's unexpected. Alright, let's discard those fairings. Let's get our solar panels deployed. Solar panels. Okay, they don't seem to be deploying. Alright, well, let's do it manually then. Now, this is going to take both engines to push this into orbit. This engine and that engine. Now, I was expecting to have to use a tug, but I actually might not. That's unexpected. Because I have 1,251 meters per second delta V left in the tank. Alright then. that should be more than enough. That should be more than enough to transfer to the moon. And capture. Okay, see, now that's working there. Two should deploy those. 4 should deploy those. Okay, that was a bit concerning. I thought I was about to destroy oh my. I didn't double that. Well, we'll just have to hope it isn't a problem. Alright, well, let's just take care of the capture burn, and then we'll probably end the day there. Okay, so we're going to want to circularize at the periapsis, create and execute. $271.9 meters per second of delta V. That's going to leave us with like 130 meters per second. I might need to use these engines to do rendezvous, which is fine. Rendezvous will barely even touch the fuel that I have for the our lithium fuel. Yeah. Flip me prograde, please. Flip me prograde. And jettison that. Okay. Alright, flip that around and deorbit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stop here because I'm already kind of long on this episode. What we will do is we'll go ahead and rendezvous this thing. And, we'll rendezvous it. Dock it. Transfer some crew, because we're going to need to grab a pilot and engineer who are already on board. The station. And then we're going to need to bring them down. Land and begin drilling. Alright, so we will work on that for next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.